separates me from the next room and the next. 8 rooms to be exact, here in this beautiful countryside vineyard called Aceto in Modena, Italy. You know, it's been a while since I've been doing this vlog, since 2017, and obviously so much has changed with the world, with myself. What I'm learning is, I think that's probably what my vlog is going to be about in relation to the things I realized being here in Aceto. For one, this place is actually known for its vineyards, of course for wine. You know, Italy has some of the best wines in the world, but also balsamic vinaigrette. And while everybody knows that to go to a wine vineyard is something romantic, it's something just truly such an experience, well, what people don't realize is that to make balsamic vinegar is pretty much just as difficult or just as labor intensive as wine. And so my first realization is that a lot of us always feel pressure to always do the popular thing or to always want to be part of what's in, that sometimes we tend to take for granted the other less popular things that are also just as special, that are also just as valuable. And if we take a look at ourselves, sometimes we always tend to compare ourselves to who's who has that, who has this, that we tend to forget how special we are. Yeah, look at this vineyard. The grass is very green, and it's probably even greener in other parts, but how could you not want to be in this place? There's only 8 rooms in this place. So you can come here for a wine tour, a balsamic tour. You can stay here overnight. You can have dinner here. Anyway, the tour that we got was actually the balsamic tour. And I love my balsamic vinegar. And as much as I love the olive oil, I love the wine, there's really something so special about balsamic vinegar. It's not just the dressing that you get when you eat in an Italian restaurant, that you don't really realize the process that goes behind each bottle of balsamic vinaigrette. It's like with people, all they see is the finished product, but they don't really realize like all our darkest moments, literally like being in a cellar, being in a barrel that's been aged, like Balsamico here in Aceto. You know, you have 6 years, you have 9 years, you have 12 years. Like what we had for dinner, our dessert last night, 24 years aged balsamic vinegar drizzled over smooth velvety vanilla ice cream with some simple crumbles. Looks so simple, but it's exquisite. And that's what we are, you know? Sometimes we always wake up into a simple package, but that simple package inside that person is stuff made of gold, of patience, of time, of being aged literally and figuratively. That's why I respect the process of having these things made. That's why I love coming to these factories of vineyards, and just, you can't rush art, as they say, right? You know, when you travel a lot, or when you travel, there are people who go on group tours, there are people who go with friends, in smaller groups. In my case, I usually always travel with my family. And sometimes when you're in a big group, especially those fixed tour groups, you're always in a rush, and understandably, because you want to be able to see so many things in such a limited time. I think what I've learned through my travels and slowing down is the true luxury, because the true currency that we use is not money, but it's time. So here, going through like the vineyards and just walking around and knowing that literally my bedroom is just overlooking this stunning view, and no one's telling me, hey, you gotta go. It's take your time. You have a couple of hours and just breathe. You know, making this vlog right now, this is very experimental, because usually everything on social media is fast-paced. Hurry up, instant gratification, spill out that information, spill out that Cherry Bianca. That's what you do. But you know what? We all have achieved so many accolades in life, so many or so little, but regardless of what we've achieved coming to this point in my life, I think I've realized that the biggest flex, or at least one of the biggest achievements, is actually learning to be at peace without rushing, without feeling the need to constantly perform and hustle. This hustle culture, while it sounded really cool, and it was, at least to me at one point in my life, it's not healthy. Having to slow down, it's the easiest thing in theory, but it is actually so hard to do when we are conditioned to keep, and you get like so overwhelmed, and then you just resent the whole process because you think, why am I doing all of this? What is it for? And then when you just take a moment to slow down, and trust me, it doesn't have to be in a vineyard, just slow down and cry. I don't know who's gonna watch this because they're probably gonna think this is the most boring vlog ever. Well, you know what? That's what slowing down is like. When you're used to chaos of toxicity that you don't realize is toxic, it is very boring. When you're used to relationships that are volatile, that have a lot of ups and downs, when you eventually have friendships, a job, a life, a routine that is suddenly peaceful, that can be boring. So even having to learn to recognize the beauty and stillness is an art that I am still learning, and I am allowing myself to enjoy. Like in this moment, I am allowing myself to not have to rush to tell you this great story of a place that I've been to, because that's the format. And this place is incredible. Other than being a place that is known to produce Lambrusco wine, which I had last night for dinner, and I actually paired it with this appetizer, and it was called hot donuts. No, seriously, hot donuts. And that's the other thing that I had realized. Just because something is entitled a main dish or a main course, that you tend to not bother with the starters, the appetizers, antipasti. When in the end, I had ordered a pasta dish. It was a passatelli. It's because it's a pasta I had never had before. And in the end, what did I end up liking? My appetizer. So much so that I had it twice. Paired it with a rosé Lambrusco. My God, you would think donuts, you need to have that perfect balance of dough to filling. This had so much codfish, so much cod. I was okay with that. You know, cod in the Philippines is actually very, very expensive, and I had learned is actually quite hard to prepare. It tends to be very salty, but the donuts I had last night that had that cream spread, it was just exquisite. The pasta, it's pasta. You know, you can only have so many pastas in one day, or in a trip, or, you know, in Italy. I mean, no offense, but the hot donuts, damn, so good. I think the purpose of this vlog is for me to give you permission that you are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to not have everything figured out. Just like me, I wasn't really sure how this vlog was gonna go. I wanted to try something new because as much as I love vlogging and talking about facts or figures and dates and statistics and historical things, I need to rest. My brain needs to rest. And at the same time, I'm also making history just by being here, sharing this story with you, my experience, that there is no time limit to your growth. Pace yourself. Take it all in. There are some days you are just going to cry so much because you think you're not making any progress. And then one day you take a look back and you're so amazed with yourself with how far you've come. I just want to be able to tell you that it's gonna be okay. If balsamic vinegar of wine takes so many years to produce one small bottle, and yet people think it's worth the wait, and that people will pay good money for just a few drops of that Balsamico, and that you can be spread out in ways that you never thought possible, but you need to allow yourself the time, slow, peaceful, and even in the darkest of places that you may not want to be in, but it is necessary. And then one day, when the time is right, not everything will be revealed. Not every window is going to be open right just yet, but there is going to be enough light for you to shine. I haven't reached that point yet, but I know I'm getting there. And the fact that I'm comfortable enough to share a vlog like this with all of you without fear of judgment, that already for me is a win. So from Modena to my vlog, to your heart, from mine. I'm Bianca Valerio. Until next time. Arrivederci. Ciao.